in the last 2 years, they've been so close to those games in Division 3 and prelims, decided both times by less than a kick. And this game here, I watched Thomastown last weekend against Reservoir. That game could have gone either way for the best part of 3 quarters. Thomastown ran away with it, but I think that the way in which they did that last quarter, overcoming the odds in the last quarter to beat Reservoir, I think that really holds them in good stead today. Watsonia obviously came through with injured bodies last weekend. I know they've named that extended lineup. Bennett's been named as in, but do you think Riccardi and even Daley Bear will come up? Riccardi was really limited last weekend. If those two go out, I'd almost argue that Thomastown's a favourite in this one here, just given that we're probably going in with the healthier list at the right time of year.
That's a lot of quality to lose if those fellas do go out. You feel like that they've got a pretty strong core group, though. I mean, I was watching Andrew Clark last week through the midfield. I thought he was a fantastic barreling midfielder helping out Dornoff. You have fellas like Crompton and Allen in there in the middle. You feel like they can cover these holes, but as Sam said, if Riccardi and Bennett's a bit underdone, if Riccardi can't play a full game to his full capability, maybe that does swing the ledger and put the balance back in Thomastown's favour.
It's going to be interesting either way. As I said, 3 games they've played against each other this year, and 3 times Watsonia has won. 2 times those games being played out at Main Street Reserve, which is of course the home ground of the Thomastown Football Club. So it's going to be both sides out on the arena now, getting prepared for a massive qualifying final. It is Bundoora taking on Heidelburg. The umpires just making their way out now. Boys, conditions, if anything, the wind looks like it's still picking up just a fraction as well. It's going to be blowing to the city end of the ground, so an important coin toss that could be in one regard here. Sides are out now. Cloak has taken his place on the side. There was some conjecture. I think a player like Cloak, as we saw last weekend, can play with injury. Did kick the 5 goals, massive one there. But midfield better. We've mentioned Mimo's there, but I actually see he's actually made his way into the team as being in. So we'll keep an eye on that one there, because it looks like he has taken his place after that. So it's maybe a late change there, which we'll look to see which players come out. Maybe the process of elimination might run down in a moment to get that final 10 list, but Mamone looks like he has taken his spot. No Rasa Marcus, so it looks like. So a big blow there for Bundoora. Heidelburg boys, they've had an indifferent year for the Heidelburg Footy Club. Looks like they've been times throughout the year where they've been in really good form, and then lost a game like the one to Lowell Plenty, and which you just didn't expect. It happened, I guess, to the McLeod game as well, where they had known to win that they go into the finals. Bundoora has been of a similar ilk, where they had some really good form at times, didn't drop one again as you wouldn't expect, and the Alpha one was probably the big one in round 17. Do you think that almost, given how late that happened in the year, was almost the wake-up call they needed? They'd had that great win against Montmorency, and on the eve of the final series, it was almost that loss supposedly that you need to have on the eve to really sharpen you up.
Well, I thought they'd had that loss when they played West Preston a fortnight before that, and they went down in that game, but no, possibly needed another loss when they came up against Eltham a couple of weeks later, and that gets Eltham into the finals, gives Bundoora a shake-up, works well for everyone.
Well, 2 captains now making their way into the middle. Blair Harvey and, of course, Michael Foley, the co-captain of Bundoora with Braden Shaw, just making their way now. So we'll keep a really interested eye on that one there, because, as we said, the wind looks like it's blowing to the city end of the ground, the right of the grandstand, and the umpire flips the coin up, and we're just waiting on confirmation there. It looks like it's been won by Michael Foley, and it looks like he gone to the... It was an interesting little call. I think he did the thumb at the back to say he wants to go to the city, and then he's fallen the other way. So I think we're still none the wiser after all that as to which way that Bundoora will kick to. But it was an interesting one, because you make a good point about the West Preston game, that they'd come off a good win, went into that and lost it, but then they bounced back with their best win of the year, and followed up with really their worst quarter, down 6-4-40 to 0 after about 20 minutes of game time. And the call today, boys, good luck. It should be an absolute cracker. It is Bundoora taking on Heidelburg from Preston City Oval.
And straight away we've seen Aaron Lerm go to the bench, so Matty Dennis will take the opening bounce, and I think that change is Mamone comes into the side, and I think it's Ferraro who's gone out. Haven't been able to spot him from the opening huddle, so Ferraro out, Mamone in, but it is Cloak going to the forward line. All the players just having one last chat in their respective positional groups. As we welcome back Lee Moulton to the broadcast.
Happy and really happy to be here, if I can just over-happyatise it. This is going to be a cracker. I'm really looking forward to this. These first 5 minutes, it's going to be a lot of bash and crash, and I'm keen to see how Cloak goes over this first quarter.
Who's going to him?
Smith.
Yep.
I hope I pronounce that correctly.
You see Ricky Dyson going into the midfield as well, so he usually plays across half-back, but getting the experience from league footy, obviously, in the midfield to start the game off. So not too far away now, everyone's in position. No more patrons on the ground from the end of the reserves game, and we're just about ready to get started here. It's Tom Flanagan to get us away from the start.
So, finals footy, Division 1 Northern Football League here at the Preston City Oval. We've got Bundoora taking on Heidelburg, and here is the first bounce. Matty Dennis winning it down at ground level, crashing in hard there was Dyson. He was dispossessed straight away, charging through was Blair Harvey. Early chance for the Bergs. No, Farrelly stripped his direct opponent and kicked a high up and under the direction of Cloak, and he's marked it over the back as a yes. The umpires paid it, and what a great start for the Bulls this would be. Cloak was just in the perfect position, just gave his direct opponent a little nudge out and was able to take the mark nicely over the back of that contest. What a great start this would be, Jordan.
And a very high kick that was as well. He took that 2 times on the chest. It just bounced off once, managed to beat 2 opponents and grab it the second time. So a fantastic start for Bundoora, and of course it was the clearance straight away from the midfield that we've seen Bundoora do so well throughout the season, and already having an early shot at goal from the start of this first quarter.
So big Cam Cloak lining up for number 82 for the season. He's been sensational, and he continues that right now. First goal of the day for the Bulls. Cam Cloak gets one.
So Bundoora with the early goal, 1 goal straight. Heidelburg yet to score. Start here of the Division 1 qualifying final here at Preston City Oval. Bundoora taking on Heidelburg, and what a great start it was for Bundoora.
Interesting there, the 2 Heidelberg defenders did go to Cloak, 1 out, which had the ball spilled over the back. Little Adrian Papaluka was going to run onto that and get Bundoora on the board anyway.
So the ball back in the middle here, Dennis and Finn to do the ruck work. Finn gets a tap down, but it's going towards Palazzolo. He has to bend down to pick it up. Marshall comes in the midfield, but Heidelberg get the ball back. It's at half forward now for the Tigers. Marshall lays a big tackle, and there'll be another stoppage at left half forward this time for the Heidelberg Tigers.
He's been brilliant in that small defender role, Brett Marshall. We saw him last year as the small forward, but being a small defender this year, he's been sensational, taking on all the opposition's best small forwards as Heidelberg moving nicely now through Brunelli. That kick is just going to find its intended target. It just split the gap of about 3 or 4 Bundoora players and just sat nicely into the lap of Mark Favren, and he's going to line up from 40 metres out, slight angle for the instant reply here for the Tigers.
It didn't take too long for Heidelberg to get up in the forward line either, straight away from the midfield, just playing out wide, and Favren's going to have a shot at goal here on a 45-degree angle. He'll kick from about 45 metres out as well, coming in, right foot kick all the way, straight as you like, and faded at the last moment. It started off very, very straight, and then faded at the last moment, hit the post, hit the very top of the post. So just 1 behind for Heidelberg, very unlucky. It was a good shot from Mark Favren, but Bundoora have it again at full back.
Delbridge and Shelton combining there. Dodgy handball from Shelton, but Dyson will be able to do something with it, but nothing good. It's marked there on the outer side. Nice mark it was by Logie. He gave a little handball inboard. Now Heidelberg with another chance. Long kick inside. Is that going to be paid a mark? No, not quite. Ball now at ground level, but pack was crashed, and I thought the mark may have been taken, but maybe just spilled at the last second, and the ball trickled out of bounds for a boundary throw-in.
Was that the big Fav again there flying?
It was Justin Murphy actually who's gone up in the forward line, so flying in from over the top, but didn't manage to get it, as the ball's now at centre half forward here for Heidelberg, but Bundoora with possession. They clear defensive 50, a big long kick out to the outer side underneath this one-on-one contest at the back. Mark Lynch trying to track it down before it reaches the boundary line, but he's not going to get there, and there will be a throw in now at left half forward for Bundoora. So 1 goal straight Bundoora to Heidelberg, 1 behind at the start of the first quarter here at Preston City Oval.
So the umpire throws it back in. Bundoora half forward line. Finn taps it back, tries to get it to a teammate who was dispossessed straight away by Farrelly, who gets a little handball underground to Palazzolo, and at the back of that pack is Mitchell, and he feeds one of his teammates. I think that's other Mitchell, Michael Mitchell. Got it from David, and then swung it across to Dennis, who's got an opportunity to go forward with a long ball. Lord just missed it. Norcross going to get a second chance, maybe out of the air. Good work by Miller there on the last line of defence. Takes it across for a rush behind. So it's a 1-1-7 Bundoora to Heidelberg, a 1 behind.
Brad Smith just misjudging that one in the air. He ran right underneath it and went over his head and missed it, but Lord and Moorcroft couldn't do their best, and
everyone was clean bowled.
Went straight through for a rush behind as Heidelberg exit the defensive 50. Dennis flies high at half forward, ball on the ground. Players coming in from all directions, but the umpire says, give it to me. We'll have a stoppage again at left half forward for the Bulls. Ball thrown up quickly, flying over the top. Dennis with the big leap. Tap down towards the wing. Michael Mitchell's in the race for it here. Goes further out towards the wing. It's going to go to the boundary line. Dave Mitchell can't keep it in. A boundary throw in centre wing on the outer side of the ground.
So 1-1-7. Plays one behind, early stages here. First quarter in week 1 of the Division 1 finals here. Bundoora versus Heidelburg. And yet another clearance here for the Bergs. High ball up in the air is going to be marked by Barbero. No, not quite. Ball came to ground. Kicked by Michael Mitchell. Is trickling out towards the boundary line in front of Papalucha, and we're going to have yet another ball in.
Heidelberg keeping their forward line very, very open. There's no one in there, in fact. Everyone at least forward of the centre square as the ball's thrown back in on the outer side. Just pinballing around a few fists and a couple of boots. Going towards the boundary line again. Chaz Sargent can't keep it in. Another throw in on the centre wing this time. So the game just slowing down a bit from the first few clearances we had in the first couple of minutes. Another throw in this time, outer side of the ground. Tap down, Heidelberg get possession. Comes out to Hodgkin, who puts a little grubber kick on. It goes up towards half forward. Tapped over, Heidelberg going inside the forward 50. Actually, Murphy's going to mark this one just outside the 50. Handball is on now to a teammate in the midfield. This is Houlihan, who goes with the kick inside the forward 50. And a good mark taken on the lead there from the Heidelberg player. That was Trelaw, who goes further inboard. Tries to find a man. Offhands, ball hits the ground. Barbaria's in there. So is Farrelly, and he clears the defence. Going inside the forward 50 now for Bundoora. That was a big kick from 50 to 50. Cloak gets it the second time around. Wheels around on the right boot. Gets past his man. He puts a lot of the ball to Moorcroft, but it's gone over the boundary line, and there'll be a throw in.
Crucial fist from Barbero up the other end. That was going to be an easy uncontested mark about 20 metres out directly in front for the Bergs, and Barbero was just able to get a fingertip in there and force the ball going the other way. Great stuff. And the umpire to ball it in deep inside the right forward pocket here for the Bulls. It's going to be Cloak going up in the ruck this time, and he gets a little hand on it, but it's going to come out the other way here for the Bergs. Nice chip to the outer side is going to go into the path of Logie. He's not going to get there first though. Michael Mitchell with him, but he eventually does pick it up there, Logie, but he's dragged out. Good one-on-one contest there out on the outer side. Mitchell and Logie going hammer and tong.
So a throw in now at left half forward again for Bundoora. It's been thrown in a couple of times in this area. Ball comes down. In there is Healy, but stolen away from him from Mitchell, who goes further inside the forward 50, but a good fist out the back from Kennedy in the goal square, and that's one rush behind there for Bundoora.
I know Cloak did get the first goal, but I have been very encouraged by what I've seen from Smith, Miller and Kennedy there at the back. They've been quite good in the one-on-ones as the balls come in tight. And Kennedy now at fullback, he goes with the right foot kick, goes out to the right-hand side of centre half-back. James Lord at the bottom of the pack at ground level, trying to get a handball out to one of his teammates, Farley and Mitchell, but it's not going to come out. It's going to be a bounce about 48 metres out from the Bulls' goal here. Midway through the first quarter, it is 1-2-8 Bundoora to one behind Heidelberg.
Thrown up, tap down from Miller, finds a man on the outer side. Lynch at right half-back, goes up the line,
Good hit.
finds a man in Sinclair at right half-back. Just slows it down, decides to go for a little chip over the top and finds a man further up the wing. Heidelberg just playing a slow build up here, kicking up the line. Another one goes to Favren, who drops it. Bundoora get it back through Marshall, who goes again back whence it came, but it's gone out of bounds on the full. So there'll be a free kick to Heidelberg centre wing.
And
side.
just quickly around the grounds in Division 2, Whittlesea are 1 goal 3-9, Fitzroy Stars a 1 goal straight 6, 3-point margin now to the Eagles.
Logie is going to get a 50-metre penalty here. I didn't quite see what that was for, but
Didn't say that either.
he's going to get an opportunity slightly closer to goal, or a fair bit closer to goal than where he was when the initial infringement was given. And it's going to be Logie about 60 metres out, still beyond him you would think. But he assesses his options. He goes in with a little short ball. Is it going to reach Trelaw? No, just over his head. Still an opportunity here for the Bergs, but the Bulls will come away. Nice little spearing ball into James Lord. Drop there, and then a nice look away handball. Releases Mitchell on the outer side. Goes with the right foot kick up to half forward. Moorcroft, great strong hands there. He was being pushed by Kennedy as he took the mark, and he was able to extend the jukes, and it was a really strong grab there, about 60 metres out. Great turnaround there. Great movement through the middle there. Nice work by Michael Mitchell to get it forward. And up in the air, Moorcroft goes high and long towards the goals. Good work by Finn to get a little touch on that, and the ball rolls out towards the right forward pocket here for the Bulls. It's going to be yet another boundary throw in.
How good has Farrelly been in the defensive 50 for Bundoora? A couple of times it's gone down in there, and he's been back there sweeping up, mopping up for Bundoora and extracting from defensive 50. As the ball's thrown back in, Finn with a double punch goes towards the boundary line again. Healy can't keep it in. We have throw in right half forward for the Bulls.
Just to the right of the commentary position here. So a 7-point lead to Bundoora. Finn, no one up against there, gets a tap down. Miller handles out there to Houlihan, breaks for a tackle, looks back there. He's got Mark Lynch, I believe it is, and he's found Jess Sinclair there.
In between 3 players.
That is pinpoint if you ever would see it. No one's standing the mark here, but it is a bit of a man on man. So here's Sinclair assessing his options, goes down the line. Target is Trelaw, but that is a great mark there to Matty Dennis. Here's my man to watch today for the Narellan Pools player of the day. Inboard, Glowry, the man who Sam might be putting into retirement there. Cloak, beaten to the ball by Jared Smith. He's definitely got him for pace here. Back to Logie, back to Smith, and back to Logie again. Just dilly-dallying around with it here. Goes inboard to Nolan. Nolan handballs off. This looks like it might be Mark Lynch coming through the centre, and finds a teammate there at centre half back. Jamie Allen it is.
It is Allen, and he moves it across to that man Logie, who's had it a couple of times in the last few minutes, and he slides a ball to the outer wing. It's not going to advantage any of his teammates. He's going to roll out in front of Trent Barbero on the outer wing.
I've seen a few of those today, just a few wayward kicks going out of bounds. There's another throw in now on the outer side. No, throw in to the near side. Thrown up, Finn taps it down, tries to get it to Logie. It's coming out though for Heidelburg, and a good mark taken by Naboo in the lead between wing and half forward here. Naboo tips one further forward. It's a little dribbler kick. It's going towards the boundary again. Glowry just keeps it in for Bundoora. Heidelburg now get it back there. They go inside the forward 50. A little kick to the hot spot. Marshall's underneath it. Couldn't take it. Favren's there as well, but well mopped up there from Benny Shelton in defence. And he extracts from the 50. Goes up towards half back. He goes through.
Wow.
Lerm, look at him run. He's coming for the first time. Taps it forward to a teammate. This is Mamone on the run. At right half forward here. In fact, it's Aquilina. He's going further forward, just paddling it towards himself. Little left foot kick inside to the hot spot. It was a poor one, a grubber kick, and Heidelberg will mop up in defence through Sinclair. Handballs out wide to Lynch. Handballs over the top again through to Sinclair now. That left half back. Would have been kicked, and fantastic pressure applied there by Sal Mamone. Ball's gone out of bounds, but fantastic pressure there from the little forward for Bundoora.
Sensational stuff there by Mamone. The pressure is going up here at the Preston City. He's belted out of the ruck there. Here's a chance for Brayshaw. He goes for half forward. He finds Dennis. Dennis has got a man over the top. He can go for a shot if he likes. Time and space. It's a right foot kick long towards the goals. Almost going to get to Moorcroft. It's just over his head. Cloak's still in there at the bottom of the pack. Kennedy on top of he. It's going to be held up about 10 metres out from the Bulls' goal. And that was an exciting bit of play there, Jordan.
Well, Michael Mitchell was the man who got the handball from Dennis, and just stopped at the last moment by a few Heidelberg defenders as it's punched over the boundary line for another rush behind. Bundoora now moved out to 139. Heidelberg one behind, but in the back line there, they're just holding up. Kennedy and Finn, who's moved back there as well, and Jared Smith.
Wasn't it smart by Blair Harvey there? Heidelberg didn't have a ruckman. He went in and he just bodied the big germ Lerm out of the contest.
And he knocked him down as well. He sacked him to the ground. As the ball moves out now to left half back. Drapepak kicks up the line, finds a man in Allen, who has to wheel it around his man. He goes in again for the ball kick. Turned over. Braden Shaw with a high ball. Going inside the forward 50. 2-on-1. Cloak.
What a mark.
Cloak. What a mark. Goes around the left. Goes to the hot spot.
Gasman.
To Moorcroft. Wanted to play on. Wanted to play on.
I think he took 1 or 2 steps there.
And I think that's a 50 metre as well, maybe. But he's right in front anyway. So
he was.
Moorcroft right in front from the goal line, and he kicks a goal. So Bundoora get one back, and it's 2-3-15 to Heidelberg, one behind. And what a mark there from Cameron Cloak though. He was 2-on-1, they're double teaming him, and he managed to get a chest mark of all marks as well in between 2 defenders.
And that's the thing, the Heidelberg defence did all they could to stop Cloak. Then that was a high ball. It wasn't as if it was a perfect laced out kick to him. They did everything they could to stop him. He's just such a big hulking figure, and if he's on, he's very, very difficult to stop by anyone's standards.
So the ball back in the middle again. Lerm now to do the ruck work for the Bulls. Lerm and Finn in the midfield. Ball's throwing up again. Lerm doesn't even leave the ground but taps it down. Allen's coming through though for Heidelberg. Big bump play from Aquilina. Lerm again gets it out now to Carline. To Aquilina. A high ball inside the forward 50. Moorcroft on the lead. Takes a good mark. He juggled it a couple of times but took it out in front of Kennedy, and he's going to go back. And he kicks goals from this angle all the time. He's high up against the boundary line, about 40 metres out. And it's going to be a tough kick from here, but if anyone can do it, Gary Moorcroft can.
And it looks like he might be getting a bit of wind assistance if I can watch from the trees behind. He comes in now, he's aiming for the far point post, and that's where the goal umpire's gone, and he's sent it through from behind the Gazman there. So Bundoora 2-3-15. Heidelburg just the 1 point. We've been going 14 and a half minutes here at Preston City Oval.
Must lock down on Gazman. Can't let him get away as he has been in these stages midway through the first quarter here.
Well, Kennedy's gone to him, and every time it's gone one-on-one, Moorcroft's won it most of the time. Kennedy's good in the air as the ball now leaves defensive 50. Good Heidelberg, but a good mark there from Dennis, who handballs off now to Carmuciano. Gets on the left, goes into the hot spot again. Cloak on the lead, doesn't take it this time. Well done from the defense of Heidelberg. Comes out to Allen now. That was a clanger as well. Now going out to Miller, who finds a man on the outer side, and they exit defensive 50. Heidelberg goes out to Sinclair, who gets it again the second time around, but it was hard up against the boundary line, and it's gone over for a throw-in at half forward for Bundoora.
Mamone just rushed his decision a little bit with that handball there in the forward half. Probably could have waited and assessed the options a little bit.
Heidelberg now at half-back. Lots of players around this ball here. Lots of pressure being applied by the Bulls. Comes out to Hodgkin, who dances around one. Did well. Kicks up the line. Finds a man standing in the centre of centre wing. That was Naboo, who gets a little tap onto Logie, who gets it onto Favren. On hands and knees here, Favren being hampered by Marshall, who's going to follow him all day. He's done well as well, Marshall.
Just quickly in Division 3, Watsonia 1 goal straight, Thomastown yet to score, and 3 goals, 18, sorry, to Thomastown 2-2-14, and in Division 2, Whittlesea 2-5-17, Fitzroy Stars 1 goal straight, 6.
Lerm gave it to Mitchell. Mitchell moved it to half forward to Lord. Almost took the mark there. It was a 2 grabber, and he was able to pick it up on the half volley at ground level after he dropped the mark, and Dennis came in to apply pressure, and there's going to be a boundary throw in there on the outer side, about 60 metres out from the Bulls goal. Score is 2-3-15 Bundoora. Good start. Heidelberg just the one behind.
So throwing now left half forward for Bundoora. Finn and Dennis do the ruck work. It comes down to Dave Mitchell. A lot of players around this one. There'll be another stoppage. Still left half forward, and they've got the 2 ruckmen on the ground now, Bundoora, Dennis and Lerm. Dennis up in the forward line as Miller now gets it for Heidelberg across half back. A little handball onto Logie, who goes up the line and finds a man, but it just goes through his hands. Drops down now to Ryan, who's trying to get it, keeping it in. A little kick there from Barbera. Goes up to Michael Mitchell, who just bounces over his head. Miller, handball inboard to Finn, who gets it off David Mitchell. Well done from Finn. The handball was a bit wayward though. Comes back now to Shaw, who goes with the kick up to centre half forward. Lord on the forward flank, comes down now to Moorcroft on hands and knees. Can he do it? What can he do with it here? Moorcroft, not much. The ball's been locked in, and there'll be another throw in this time. Inside the Bundoora forward 50.
He was just lurking then, Gary. Mark Lynch had to lock down on him, and he's got the ball again here, Mark Lynch. Feeds out a little handball to a teammate, I think that's Miller, and now he slides one out near our commentary position. It's a one-on-one. It's a foot race here. Oh, good effort there by Carmuciano to bring his direct opponent to ground. That was Healy. Great one-on-one there by Carmuciano and Healy.
Bit of push and shove as well down here near the boundary line.
Jamie Allen getting involved there.
Yeah, look at the mismatch here in the ruck. It's Lerm against about a bloke that is 3 foot tall, and that 3 foot tall bloke is Luke Hodgkin. So, and he's actually won a free kick. He has won a free kick here. So once again, smart by the Heidelberg team. When Mickey Finn can't get to the ball, they are just throwing in whatever they can at the Bundoora ruckman.
Ball moves out now to centre wing, near side of the ground, just kept in. A little handball over the top from Nolan, but eventually tapped over from Barbera. So there'll be a throw in centre wing.
As you alluded to in the pre-match, Jordan, Nolan is going through a few stints in the midfield. We thought that he might start forward, but he is going through the midfield at this stage.
Another free kick has been paid here, again going to Heidelberg from the stoppage. So they're winning plenty of free kicks from throw-ins and ball-ups, and it will be Nolan now on centre wing, who just squares up to Mark Lynch in the middle of the ground. He takes it, plays on straight away, gets around Lord, puts on the left, goes inside the forward 50 now. Who can mark it? It comes out the back, just drops down to Dennis. A little handball line, but it comes back to Heidelberg. Trelaw wheels around on the right. Hasn't curled back far enough. In fact, it's gone out of bounds for a free kick to Bundoora.
Must take your opportunities.
Whittlesea have kicked another goal. They stretch out now to a 3-goal lead, 3-6-24. Fitzroy Stars 1-0-6. Back here at Preston City Oval, it's deep in Bundoora's defence. Tommy Flanagan.
So
Kick us the ball.
long ball coming out of that back half in the direction of Dennis. It's going to go over his head and it'll fall into the arms of Miller, who's sweeping across half-back. Gives a little handball to Logie. Logie slides one into Sinclair in the middle of the ground, just attacking side of the centre circle on the outer side, and he goes with a left foot ball out to Miller. Played a bit of kick to kick, but that one was no good from Sinclair, and it's rolled out of bounds for a boundary throw on the outer side. Probably had Miller uncontested there, probably should have hit that target, but wasn't to be. So a boundary throw in there on the outer side in Heidelberg's forward half.
So thrown in, ball hits the ground. Barging in there is Delbridge, who wins himself a free kick as well. So Delbridge will have it between wing and half-back on the far side of the ground for Bundoora, just slowing it down, looking for some options. Decides to go with a long kick up to half-forward. Over the back. Lord's got plenty of space now. As long as it bounces up for him, he's just kept it in the boundary line. Puts on the left, goes inside 450. Oh no way! It's gone in. It's gone over everyone's head. It's done the off break and just bounced inside the post. And what a fantastic goal from Lord against the boundary line.
I thought he was going for Cloak, trying to set him up for the nice mark in the goal square, but it was a beautiful kick. It just floated and went all the way.
Cloak spotted about a mile away. He looked like he was going to mark it, and then the hands just went by his side, and he just watched that sail through.
A lot of luck in that one as well, because no one marked it in front of Lord, and then it bounced over the pack, and he was able to run onto it from behind everyone else, and they managed to just bend it into goals. So well done there from James Lord with his first goal of the day.
So the three key forwards, Moorcroft, Cloak and Lord, all getting involved there for the Bulls here in the first quarter, and they're going to get the ball again. It's going to be Brent Marshall off the back half, goes with the check side out to the wing. It's going to
bounce that up.
It was a leg break for Logie. Didn't favour him. It did favour Ricky Dyson, who's moving here for the Bulls. He slides a little ball into his teammate, and he's moving the ball very nicely into the forward half and finds Papalucci. He's about 60 metres out from goal. I thought he marked it in front of Lynch, maybe just touched off the boot, or possibly Lynch got a little fingernail in there, and he kicked it long, but it was turned over nicely by Palazzolo there for the Bulls. He gave a little handball out, gets to Delbridge, now to Dennis. Dennis with a long kick deep into Cloak. He's got the sit! And he's taken the mark!
Another one.
Beautiful work there by Cloak. Dennis knew where to kick it, Cloak knew where to stand, and he took a sensational mark on the chest there at the back of the pack, and he'll line up for his second goal of the quarter.
And again, it was the chest. He just out-muscled his direct opponent and took it right on the chest. So fantastic there from Cloak. He's taken 3 contested marks inside the forward 50 today.
So Cloak, in he comes now. We said he could be the difference if he's up and about. 4 goals in the last time these two sides met. 5 goals last week, and he's got 2 already today. Cameron Cloak puts through his second. That's his 83rd for the year, and he's looking a dangerous proposition for the Heidelberg defence this afternoon.
Great outing there from Cameron Cloak already in the first quarter. He's just been able to outmuscle his defenders. There's going to have to be a bit of a rejig, I think, in the Heidelberg defence, because it's just too easy at the moment for Cameron Cloak. Everything that comes in high is just taken on the chest, and I think that's probably the game plan of Bundoora now. Just kick it high up into Cloak as opposed to lace out in front, because he's marking everything in the air.
They must do something. They must do something pretty fast. Get the big guns in the middle, because this game could slip away. Late stages here in this first quarter. I was going to say midway, but it's probably 23 minutes gone. So we're getting close to the late stages of this first quarter here, and Heidelberg really needs something here. Barging through was Houlihan after the stoppage. He was able to get a handball to a teammate, and then he got it back, but he slipped over. It was a good bit of pressure there inside by the Bundoora boys. Fowley, he went in hard. He's at the bottom of the pack. So's Blair Harvey. Fowley went in again, and there's going to be a bounce about 50 metres out from the Heidelberg goal, and gee, they need a goal, don't they?
It was a good effort from Houlihan in the midfield. He kept on running, but just
good second effort.
Almost taken down there from Dyson, who just applied a bit of pressure and ended up stopping that run from Heidelberg as the ball now moves towards centre half forward for the Tigers. It'll be another stoppage though. They need a goal here, Heidelberg. They haven't scored one yet. Almost the end of the first quarter, as it drops now to Allen, who goes with a high kick inside the forward 50. A play on the lead here. Can't take it. There was Trelaw, Sargent in fact. He has to go back the second time. Well done there from Marshall, who dived in on top of the footy. He comes out to Heidelberg again though, inside the forward 50. Hodgkin down on the boot. Hodgkin, it's just hooked out to the left, and 1 behind for Heidelberg. So they now have 2 behinds for the first quarter. Bundoora 4-4-28. So a 26-point lead here to Bundoora in the first quarter.
And it's going to be Dyson bringing the ball back in for Bundoora. 24 minutes gone, can't be too long left. We wouldn't expect more than 3 minutes of footy. Nice kick on the left there in the direction of Carline. Ball was socket over and it's ended up on the wing with Heidelburg who are mopping up. It looks like Logie kicks in board and he's found his teammate there. I've just missed that number there. I'm sorry, boys. And kicking it into the forward line there. That's a beautiful mark. No, it was Favlin was disposed of. Heidelberg kicked the ball in the centre, but it's all Bundoora who a great mark in the defence by Glory, and he drives it back out straight out. Oh, look at that comedy of errors. Ball went straight through his hands. And Tommy, it's gone to Matty Dennis.
It is Matty Dennis, and he's running and kicking long up to half forward. Oh, clean ball, Kennedy. It's going to be Moorcroft with the sit. He's got it in the pocket. He'd have to do something miraculous to get a goal from here. Went in hard, and there was a great effort by Kennedy and Lynch in the end to hold up their two direct opponents. But it looked like for a moment when Kennedy was clean bowled that Moorcroft was going to be away with a paddock.
And that's happened twice now to Kennedy as well. It's just gone straight through him and hasn't been able to read the bounce off the ground. So if you can sit behind Kennedy and know that the ball's going to hit the ground, you're in a good position as the ball's thrown out and it taps down to Mamone, who's running out to it now, left half forward, just paddles it to Dyson. Well done. Dyson goes with a kick to the hot spot. Dennis has to run back to get it. Coming in now, Camusiano. It sits up for Lynch, who gets it back. In fact, it's Harvey at centre half back. He goes with a kick out the wing and a good kick.
Oh, well done.
Favre gets past Marshall as well. Kicks up to centre half forward. A one-on-one contest. Oh, good one-handed mark there from Sinclair at centre half forward. Wheels around on the left boot. Finds a man in open space. It just bounces over his head. Has to paddle it to himself. Has to beat his defender, Sargent. Now free kick's been given, and it's going to go to, just haven't seen who the arm's being pointed to. It's going to go to Heidelburg. So Heidelberg will have it with Sargent now just outside 50, and he's going to have a shot at goal from a 45-degree angle, hopefully for what will be Heidelberg's first goal of the first quarter.
Fantastic effort by Mark Favren here on the wing. He took the mark, went to ground, and then did sort of a little barrel roll as he got up and then kept running. Got away from Brent Marshall, was able to set up this piece of play here. And Sargent, I think Neil Glory will be a little bit disappointed with the way he gave away that free kick. But the kick from Sargent is just bending back with the breeze. I think he might have got it. It looked like it was fading out to the left, but he has got it. Great kick by Chaz Sargent. Just used the breeze beautifully there here at the Preston City Oval. And he's got the first goal of the day there for the Bergs. A much needed one indeed.
Well, that was an absolute mongrel of a kick. He was spinning in all directions and started out on the left and managed to curl back right at the last moment as well. Beat with Glory on the line. Glory stuck the fist up and tapped it, but it was behind the line at that point. So Heidelberg have their first goal of the day, and it's through Chaz Sargent, who kicked a strange old goal, but back in the middle now. Quarter time looming. Dennis back in the ruck as well. He taps it down. In fact, both ruck and miss it. Comes out to Healy now in the midfield. It kicks up to right half forward, running onto it. Robbie Allen now kicks it out towards the boundary line. Is that going to be deliberate?
Michael Mitchell wants it.
Umpires say no. There'll be a throw-in on the outer side of the ground. Right half forward.
27 plays, 8. Late stages here in the first quarter. Heidelberg needed that last goal, a crucial one to Chaz Sargent just to keep the game alive from a Bergs perspective. They were 4 goals to none in the early part of this game, and just pegging one back there as Robbie Allen gets a sliding little ball into George Nabuti. Can't pick it up first, and the Bulls will get out of this one. Oh, beautiful play by Dave Mitchell. He gets around 1 or 2, and now a third. It's taken 3 bounces.
Chase from Fav.
Was a couple of good chases on there, but he was able to keep paddling the ball forward, Mitchell, and he's still running. Oh, he could have got onto the end of that one. The ball was in Cloak's area, and he takes the mark after the siren. That could have been a real body blow had he been able to take that mark before the siren and put through his third. But as it is, it's going to be 4-3-27 Bundoora, playing Heidelberg 1 goal 2-8, and the goal scorers Cameron Cloak 2, Gary Moorcroft 1, and James Lord 1 for the Bulls. And for Heidelberg, just the solitary goal to Chaz Sargent. But an interesting quarter of footy here in the first week of the finals. Bundoora versus Heidelberg. Sensational game of footy at the Preston City Oval.
A quick thought from each of you before we head to the break.
I'll start off, and I noticed that the big man Lerm only played about 5 minutes of footy there. If that's all he's going to be doing each quarter, I think Bundoora have wasted a player.
And Tommy, anything Heidelberg can do from here that you think they need to change for the second quarter?
I would like to see all the big guns running through the middle. I'd like to see Murphy have a stint in there. I'd like to see Sinclair have a stint in there. I'd like to see Nolan pretty much permanently in there. They need to start beating the Bulls in tight. You feel like players like Braden Shaw and Palazzolo and Farrelly are really getting on top. Shaw's been playing a little bit forward. Farrelly's been playing a little bit back, but all the fellas running through the midfield, along with Dennis and Lerm, the big ruckman, been very impressive here in the first quarter. So Bundoora really need to get something going through that midfield group. I like the pinch hitting in the ruck against Dennis when Finn can't get there, but I think the big guns need to get in there.
And around the ground scores Lee Malden.
In Division 2, it's Whittlesea 4-6-30, Fitzroy Stars 1 goal straight 6, and in Division 3, Watsonia 3-1-19, Thomastown take the lead there by 14 points. They're 5 goals 3-33.
We're going to take a break here on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. At quarter time, it is Bundoora leading 4-3-27 to Heidelburg 1-2-8 at the qualifying final for Division 1. We'll be back after this. Quarter time, it is the Bulls leading the Tigers 4-3-27 to 1-2-8, so a good start there from Bundoora in the first quarter. Cameron Cloak on fire, took a few big contested marks. The double team didn't seem to work on him in the first quarter from Heidelberg. They got him 1 or 2 times, but for the majority of the contest, it was Cloak taking those big contested marks. Guys, the teams are still in their huddle, so a few minutes away from the resumption of play in the second quarter. Just a few notes that you guys made from that first term.
Well, I think having someone like Cloak, someone like Lord, and someone like Dennis in the forward line, all of them can take that big mark with the high ball, and then you've got Moorcroft and Papalucha at their feet. It's just such a dangerous forward setup, and you've really got to be on your game. The Bergs do anyway today. If you're going to take down those guys, they've been absolutely sensational in that first quarter. I think James Lord, his performance has probably been a little bit underrated throughout the year, but he's been fantastic as that lead up at half forward. He's taken probably 2 or 3 marks in that quarter, but goes relatively unnoticed because of the high profile forward line that they've got. But he's a sensational contesting tall, and one that's really straightened them up in the back half of this year.
A name that you mentioned before the break, Tom, was Justin Murphy, and he was playing up in the forward line in that first quarter. We only really saw him once when he flew for a big mark, but then didn't come down, and after that we didn't really see him at all in that first quarter. They're playing Brunelli in defence as well. I think there should be a change, maybe put Murphy in the back line, because one thing Heidelberg haven't been able to do is exit defensive 50 that cleanly either. Every time it goes out, or every time it passes the defensive 50 arc, usually it's someone like Dennis standing there taking a big mark at the back. So if they can get one of those really silky clean kicks like Justin Murphy in defence, and
Sinclair,
Houlihan and Murphy in defence, and just make sure that when exiting defence it's as clean as possible. I think they should do something like that, and maybe put Brunelli in the midfield and just get him tagging someone like Farrelly, who's doing very well for Bundoora in their defensive 50. So,
well, the whole Bundoora back six has been fantastic. That first quarter they were outstanding. I think Shelton's run and second efforts was great. The lockdown efforts that Barbero's doing. Really like the work of Glowry, even though he gave away that one free kick. Michael Mitchell's been good at the back there. Farrelly, as you mentioned. I really like the way they're syncing up through the back half at the moment, Bundoora.
So the 2 huddles have broken. We're just waiting for all the patrons to make their way off the ground. Players going out into position again. Seeing, of course, those 3 big defenders for Bundoora, Glowry, Shelton and Barbero in the back line. Michael Mitchell's back there as well, so is Brent Marshall. Brent Marshall had a great first quarter against Mark Favren, just wearing him like a glove. There was only one occasion where Favren actually
turned him inside out.
Managed to get the upper hand there, but overall Marshall again showing why his transformation into a small defender has paid off dividends for Bundoora.
The big man there for Heidelberg in the ruck, Mickey Finn, he is warming up here for a big jump. There was a bit of clap, there was a bit of hey diddle diddle, and he might have even found a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow here to see some Burgers goals kicking to the city end this quarter, which is seems to be a common theme whenever we get here get to Preston City Oval. There is it's nearly 80% of goals, I would say, are kicked towards the city end. It's just hard to kick them up towards the old market end, but
even in the reserves game we saw all the goals being kicked at that end, so it's obviously the favourite end for goal kickers. So.
And I do agree with what you said there with the Burgers. They do need to get some run-off half-back and get Murphy back on.
So Matty Dennis and Mick Finn, couple of Rosbrook Trophy winners in there. working really hard, and here's Dennis following up his own work and able to paddle it to Dyson. Dyson gets it out to the wing in front of our commentary position. Good effort by Palazzolo. He needed a shepherd there from Mamone, didn't get it, but he was very clever there to work the ball Farrelly with a high up and under into half forward. It's going to be a good mark taken there at the back by Jason Kennedy. He's been doing that all year, and he does it again in the right back pocket.
Switches the play now to the outer side. He finds a man all by himself with a lot of run here. This is Allen, who takes a bounce. He's up along the wing, looking for players further forward. Puts it on the left foot, goes inside the forward 50, out the back. Barbera slips through his hands on the deck here. Trelaw gets it back. Here we go. Gives it off to a man on the boundary. It's snapped back. It's coming. It's not coming back far enough, and it's just hooked out to the left. One behind for Heidelburg to start off the third term.
Might have those ones. Was it Logie there? I thought I saw a 5 on the back. I have a feeling it may have been the Logster.
His number wasn't facing us, so it was a bit hard for us to see, but it might have been him, who usually plays across half forward for Heidelberg. As the ball's kicked up centre half back, and a good mark taken by Michael Mitchell.
So Mitchell between his defensive goal square and defensive 50, and he swings it out wide, sort of in the direction of Dennis, sort of in the direction of the boundary umpire, and as a result we'll have a boundary throw-in.
So again, another throw-in in this spot of the ground. This time it's Heidelberg's left half forward position. Thrown in. Finn with a big lead, got the boots into Dennis's sides, comes out to Healy. Healy takes a bounce, he's running, he's kicking, and it's going inside the forward 50, bounces once off the ground. Sargent gets it off to Trelaw, handballs backwards to Brunelli, dances around a couple, almost got tackled by Barbera. He puts it up high, but it's going out over the boundary line on the full. So a free kick now to Bundoora in the back pocket, as we see Lerm just warming up on the bench below us, with Carmuciano, Ryan and Carline, who are also on the bench for the Bulls.
Lerm is going to pull a Stuart Dew today. He's going to be the game breaker and a potential Narellan Pools player of the day.
A couple of left foot snaps from 55, you reckon?
I think that could be a chance.
Got to be thrown in again, left half forward for the Tigers. Finn taps it down, a really good tap, except it goes straight to Palazzolo. Comes out to Mitchell now. Marshall dances around another, goes to Delbridge. He puts it on the left and just dinks it inside the centre square. Running onto it though, Mark Lynch for Heidelberg. Has to shrug one, gets it on now to Logie, who's in there as well. Papaluca as well, gets it off to Shaw, who now has it to Lord. Lord with a low spearing kick inside the forward 50 to Moorcroft. Didn't take it on the full, came off the half volley. Handball out to Aquilino, who puts it on the right. It's floating, it's holding up in the breeze. It comes out to Cloak, who picks up off the ground. In there is Kennedy as well. And the free kick, I think, has been paid, or is it a ball up?
No, it's going to be ball up.
A ball up. So a ball up right on the goal line for Bundoora, deep in the forward 50.
It was clean hands from the Bulls, and Lynch and Houlihan good. It's going to be a free kick. It's going to go the Bulls' way, and it's going to be James Lord, who we were talking about during the quarter time break, and he can put through Bundoora's 5th goal in the first of the quarter.
So James Lord on the 45-degree angle, maybe even tighter. Almost directly in front, puts it through. So James Lord gets his second goal of the day, and Bundoora now move out to 5-3-33, Heidelberg 1-3-9 here in the second term.
Lynch and Houlihan through the middle just need to have a little bit more clean hands as the ball was being moved by the Bundoora midfielders. They were just paddling it, trying to get a little, just the ball a little bit further in towards their forward half, and eventually it paid off. They were able to get it deep and get the free kick from that ruck contest, and James Lord kicked truly. He's got 2 for the day, and the Bulls have got a handy lead again.
So back in the middle. Finn touches down, straight out of the midfield. Farrelly takes a bounce, goes inside the forward 50, kicks along to Cloak in the goal square. It falls a bit short in front of Lord. It comes down to Mamone, who has to track it down now. Cloak's in there as well. Mamone keeps on running, diving in there. Looked like it was Kennedy. Ball on the ground. There'll be a ball up now at left half forward for Bundoora. But how about the break from Farrelly from midfield? That was fantastic.
Dennis to Farrelly, textbook Bulls right there, and they go at it again. Miller gets a sweeping handball out towards the boundary. Harvey in pursuit of it. Also Carmuciano and Mitchell, and those 3 will see it out right in front of the grandstand here at Preston.
Free kick.
Oh, it is going to be a free kick. It's going to go David Mitchell's way, and gee, that's a silly error there. Whoever's given away that free kick. I didn't quite see what that was for. Did either of you see that?
No, I just missed it. We'll see if we can pick it up on the replay. Mitchell kicking into the Cloak direction. Free kick's being pulled out here, and it looks like it's going to
Miller.
Heidelberg.
A little bit of holding there from Cloak.
A little bit of holding.
I think that initial free kick was against Harvey for pushing over David Mitchell when the ball's about to be thrown in. So just a bit of disciplinary acts as the ball now moves to the wing, and Glary takes a good mark sitting underneath it, who's moved up from his usual centre half back position. Standing at centre wing, looking for a few options further up the ground. Decides to go long on the left, long and high, to Cloak underneath it, at the back there. No one could take the mark. It was Smith, who looks like he copped one over the head as well, just holding the head as he falls to ground. But there'll be a ball up at left half forward now for Bundoora.
Boys, Sam's just passed on the message from the Heidelburg quarter-time huddle. Ryan Smith wants Houlihan to work hard and be the loose man in defence, playing that quarterback-style role that we were talking about, that possibly Justin Murphy could be a go-to in that role too. You mentioned before, Jordan.
Well, they do need a bit of that, a bit of run off half-back and just some fast movement to beat Bundoora as they get it back again here on half-back. This is what we're talking about. Robbie Allen now up along the wing, kicks inside the forward 50. Sargent one-on-one with Barbero, who goes over both their heads. Running onto it here, looks like it's Nolan in the forward line. Danny Nolan, who kicks centrally. Naboo runs into an open goal square and kicks a goal. Naboo gets one back for Heidelberg. They get one back. It's 5-4, 34 Bundoora to Heidelberg 2-3-13 and 2-3-15, and Naboo gets his first goal of the day.
How clever was Nolan in tight there? Just the change of direction and just being able to sum up the situation in a matter of half a second and get that handball, the perfect handball over to Naboo running into the open goal. Sensational stuff. It's just what Heidelberg needed, and maybe Danny Nolan's the man to spark them back into this game.
It was smart play as well, because they dragged the man out of the goal square, and that allowed Naboo to run through as the crummer, and just gave him all the time in the world to aim at open goals. So smart play there from the Heidelberg forwards.
And the big man Nolan has gone back into the centre. Going straight to him is Dave Mitchell. So it is a 19-point ball game here. Finn wins the ball down, but not to his advantage. That was Dyson slapped it on his left boot here. It's a foot race between a couple of players for either team. Coming through and picking it up was Mamone. Goes back there, finds Comerciano inboard. That looks like Joey Palazzolo. Or Palazzolo. Palazzolo. I did get it right. There we go. Michael Mitchell now goes deep onto the far side of the wing, and the ball's come back inboard there and finds Delbridge.
It was a dicey one from Shelton, but he found his man, and he might get it back here. Delbridge was feigning to give the handball back to him, but he decides to just pop it over the top, and he's got the man who was involved previously, Palazzolo. He was looking to switch slightly further aside to Glowry, but went out wider and found Dennis out there on his own. He's about 80 metres from goal, too far out to score even for a Rosbrook Trophy winner. And he looks inboard and then looks further down the field. He decides to go long down the line, deep inside the forward half. All Heidelberg numbers, one of them's Mickey Finn.
Good mark.
And he takes a great mark there in the left back pocket. And now they can move out the outer side.
Plays on, finds a handball in the midfield. Handballing across the face of goal here, Heidelberg. Oh, it's missed.
Oh, no.
Bundoora going to get it back in the forward line. Mamone on the snap. It's curling back. It's curling back.
Oh.
It's gone right across the face of goal, in fact. Out of bounds on the full.
No way was correct.
All of that for nothing in the end. So Heidelberg will have it in the back pocket through Jason Kennedy.
Kennedy, long ball, and he finds his man on the outer side there, Sinclair. Moves it slightly further afield, usually a good ball user. He's got Jamie Allen, he's on the run, doesn't have to break stride. Gives it over to Lynch, and he's delivered a spearing ball towards Favren and Sargent, but it just rolled out in front of those two, and it's out for a boundary throw-in, but it's down in the Heidelberg forward half, and we've seen a few goals kicked to this end throughout the day.
They're starting to get the hang of it, Heidelberg. That was quick movement up along the line as the ball's thrown back in. Bundoora back. Delbridge clears the 50, goes up towards the centre wing. It's just bouncing towards the boundary line. Lord can't keep it in. There'll be a boundary throw in, centre wing, outer side. 34 plays 15 here at Preston City Oval, qualifying final in week 1 of Division 1 finals. As the ball's thrown back in on the outer side, it goes over the ruckman's head. Finn going back a second time. Handballs it off now to Smith, who goes with a high kick up to centre half forward. A one-on-one contest here, punched out the back. Getting up in the back is Delbridge, who handballs over the top to Marshall, who tries to kick it off the ground.
There, that was very loose and
Silly.
It
was their ball, wasn't it?
They had it. Marshall was caught off balance as well, because he went for the air swing and just completely missed it, and Murphy came in and just did the wrong thing.
As soon as Marshall fell over, it was a 2-on-1 with Naboot and Murphy against Delbridge. Yeah, it could have been a 3-on-1. There are a couple of other players lurking. Favren, I can see nearby, but yeah, that's a critical error about 60 metres out from your goal when you've got possession and the numbers.
Carmichael moves on to Carline, who goes out to left half forward. Dyson in a one-on-one contest. It comes out the back now to Nolan, who handballs off to Hodgkin, who's had a good first quarter. He's pressing on in the second quarter as well. Handballs off to Lynch, handball into Robbie Allen, but that was a wayward one. Carmichael gets it back. Handballs off to Mamone. Bundoora have it here. Fast play from the Bulls. A little handball over the top from Palazzolo. Turned over. Heidelburg on the centre wing. Hodgkin diving in. Mamone working hard at ground level. Comes over to Carline. A handball over the top again. Bundoora want to go inside the forward 50. A kick from McElena. Goes to Cloak. He can't take the mark out the back. Gets it back the second time around. Drops it. Gets it back. Handball over the top. Tries to find Carline. Has to weave his way through a couple of players. Handball out of 50. Going back inside. Who can take the mark? It's once in front of Morkov. Dennis out the back. Well done from Kennedy. Gets a handball off to Finn. Heidelberg clean in defence. This is Nolan who goes with a little chip around the side. In fact, that was Sinclair who finds Lynch with a switch. And Lynch will get it back. Oh, a little smart little tap there to beat his man. He goes with a kick out now to Harvey, who wants to keep on running. Heidelberg now with momentum. A little handball out wide. It finds Jamie Allen, who has to keep it inside the boundary line. He does. A left foot kick inside the forward 50 now. Heidelberg, this is good. It comes out the back from Glary, Mitchell, Delbridge, and now it's Bundoora to clean up in defence. Tommy Flanagan.
Oh, they've been fantastic. The Bulls, the way they've moved it out of defence with the non-clean entries from Heidelberg, but they're going to get another one back in here. It's Nolan. He barrels a ball deep inside, almost a mark there to Favren. He's going to get a second chance. May have been slightly high, and he was taken high or held by the jumper, whichever one you want to call it, and he's going to get a set shot. He missed one early in the first quarter, but he's going to get another opportunity to score his first goal of the day, and it would be a much needed one.
So Favren's going to go back now. He's going to kick. He's going to start his run up from the 50-metre line, and he's going to kick from about a 45-degree angle.
And while he's contemplating how this is going to go through the goals in Division 2, Fitzroy Stars have hit the front 5-3-33, leading Whittlesea 4-7-31, and in Division 3, as Favren comes in and kicks the goal, it is what's only a 4-1-25 at Thomastown, 9-3-57, kicking away to a further lead there.
So after all that, it was Heidelberg who kicked the goal through Mark Favren, and the margin has been brought back now to just 13 points. It is 5-4-34 Bundoora to Heidelberg 3-3-21, and Mark Favren scored his first goal of the day.
Every time it seems that the Bulls are pulling away, Heidelberg just sneak one back and just stay in the contest. They stay alive. It's only a 13-point ball game, and it seemed like a bigger margin than that at stages throughout this contest so far. Ball now back in the middle. Dennis going up against Finn. Finn won it down, but only as far as Carmichael, who's been absolutely fantastic in this first half. I think in tight, he's been one of the great ball winners for the Bulls here in this first half. First week of the finals here at Preston City Oval. Bundoora taking on Heidelberg. It is a big day for footy, and Michael Mitchell is standing up. He's been fantastic at half-back here in the first half. He switches it out to Dave Mitchell, his namesake, and then slides a little handball through to Dyson. He's usually a pretty good ball user. Left foot down to Moorcroft. It's just going to go over his head. Cleverly read there by Jason Kennedy, and he's been very good in those aerial contests.
Just squares it up, finds Jamie Allen at centre half back, takes on the half volley and switches out wide. Finds a man standing by himself. The sun just, it affected, I think it's Houlihan on the outer side, just affected his vision of the ball.
Sargent.
In fact, it's Sargent who's being harassed by Barbero, who does well but doesn't get it around the second time. Getting it back to a bolo for Heidelberg. He snaps it around on the right boot, goes inside the forward 50 towards Sinclair, but it's just bounced across the boundary line, and I think did it go over on the full, or did it pitch just inside?
I think it was touched off the fingers just before it went out of bounds, so it'll be a throw in. Another opportunity here for a Heidelberg goal if they can get something going from this stoppage. It was Treloar going up there in the ruck that time. Couldn't quite get it to a teammate, and the ball is paddled out of bounds. It's going to be yet another boundary throw in, same position, about 50 metres out here from the Heidelberg goal. Justin Murphy standing there one-on-one with Benny Shelton in the goal square. Interesting match up there.
Yeah, very interesting as the ball's thrown back in now. Left half forward for Heidelberg on the ground. Jamie Allen in there, tries to squeeze a kick out, but it gets smothered. Brunelli's in there as well. The ball kicked out towards the boundary line. Another throw in. It's a strange old game. It's either very, very fast or very, very slow. Lots of stoppages, but lots of fast bits of play. As I think we'll get around the ground scores in just a moment, as the ball's about to be thrown back in, this time in the Heidelberg left forward pocket. Tap down from Sargent, ball hits the ground. Brunelli's in there as well. Weaves his way through two plays, kicks on the high one. A free kick has been given, so it will go to Brunelli, and he's going to have a shot at goal hard up against the boundary line as we go around the grounds.
It is Whittlesea 4-8-32, trailing the Fitzroy Stars 6-3-39, 7 points there at Layla Reserve, and in Division 3, Watsonia 4-1-25, Thomastown 9-3-57. Boys, you mentioned Justin Murphy there and Shelton, the key matchup. I think Bundoora have the upper hand there because they've dragged Murphy to the square. I don't think he's not a lead up forward and he's not a full forward, so that is a big win to Bundoora there.
Brunelli didn't get the distance. Lerm just took the ball over the line for a rush behind. Give me Brent Marshall in the back pocket. He's got a couple options here on the near side. One of them is Barbero, but he overshoots the kick. He's got a teammate to help him out there, Barbero, but he did it all himself. He was able to paddle it in front of Harvey, but eventually had to work hard to get it back to Glowry, and Glowry slides the little ball, but only as far as Dorbolo, kicks it high and long, and they've got the numbers here. The Bergs! Oh, Mark had to be taken there. I think it was Sargent who spilt that one, and the ball now released. Del Bridge, he's got plenty of room to move. Gets it on the outer side, and it's Papalucha. One-on-one there with Houlihan. He's probably got the pace here, Papalucha, and he turns his man inside out, swings it around to Del Bridge, who kept running. Hard running from Kent Delbridge, and he sets up Cloak. The big man Cloak was lurking by himself in the pocket, and you've got to put that one down to the hard running of Kent Delbridge. Sensational stuff there from him, the young Bundoora player. A couple of great efforts there to set up Cloakey for this set shot.
It just set up perfectly as well for Delbridge. It was kicked over his head, but just bounced up and was able to run straight into it. And a great kick. He kept running high. He's had a good second quarter here, Delbridge, mopping up across half back, and as you see that, moving into the midfield. So Cameron Cloak, as a result of all of Delbridge's hard work, has a shot at goal. On a slide angle, he'll kick from about 35 metres out, 40 metres. It's going, and it's going as straight as you like. And Cameron Cloak has his third goal of the day. Bundoора's score now moves out to 6-4-40, Heidelburg 3-4-22, and Bundoora just getting a little bit of a buffer now on Heidelburg.
Wouldn't Heidelberg love Mickey Gay at the moment? They could just sit Finn in front of Cloak, and that would solve a lot of their problems, but they can't. They don't have that luxury. They can't do that. So Mickey Finn's just got to toil away against Dennis and Lerm. Dennis is now going into the midfield just as a free roaming midfielder, not as the ruckman. Lerm's actually taking the tap outs, and Dennis is there as a ruck rover. So that's a dangerous proposition as Bundoora go forward again. Papalucha weaving a little bit of magic, goes to the left foot ball. It's a scrubby one. It's not going to reach its intended target. Just clean bowled Miller and Cloak. And now a chance for Heidelberg off half back. Sliding little ball into Blair Harvey, just on right half back. He's got Hodgkin short if he wants to go there, or Naboot a little bit longer, or further still. He's got the loose man in Healy. He can give a handball over to Naboot if he likes. Decides against it. He goes with the right foot kick deep into Murphy and Shelton. That one-on-one matchup we were talking about. Good effort by Shelton not to give the free kick away. And he puts it out of bounds. Nice little fist there to get it out, the golden fist. Danny Frawley would be proud of that one.
Healy needs to go earlier because Murphy was making a great lead into the square, and it just held up a bit. And Healy was a bit slow with the kick. If he'd kicked a bit earlier, Murphy would have had all the time and space in the world to mark that in the goal square as it's thrown back in. Dyson in there for Bundoora as well. Ball's on the ground. Clear out eventually by Dave Mitchell out towards half back.
Lord's done his hammy.
Running onto it here. Lord is holding the back of his leg.
He's done his hammy.
He's gone for the day.
Just while we've got a quick minute to watch Lord come off, I haven't seen Braden Shaw on the ground for the last 10 minutes. No, I am no.
It is a hot day. Players wouldn't be used to these sort of conditions yet. And Heidelberg might just be back in the game. No, he squeezed it to the left. Thought it could have gone through for a goal there, but that's a big blow for James Lord. That could be his finals campaign right there. It looks like a pretty bad hamstring injury. I saw him pull up. He was running towards the contest and just pulled up very sore on that hamstring. Felt for it straight away and knew that he'd done something. So that's not great news for Bundoora or James Lord.
He's coming straight into the rooms.
As the ball now moved out to left half forward, and intercept mark taken out there by Mick Finn. So Heidelberg looking to go back inside the forward 50. They really want to go from this Heidelberg. They've had it in their forward 50 in the past couple of minutes. Gets around his man. Handball is on now. Still left half forward here, Heidelberg. Healy squares one up to Allen, who can't take the mark. Farrell interception. He kicks high and wide out to the outer side. Papaluka. Handball on to Morkoff now. Just bounces up for him. Has to wheel around here. Gets past his man. Handball's in ball to Papaluka. Going inside the forward 50. Cloak takes the one hand, drops it down. Handball. Mamone running in. Left foot kick. It's a goal. Fantastic work from Bundoora. Cloak just held off his opponent, tapped it down with one hand, got it off to Mamone, and Mamone ran into an open goal square and kicked his, is that his second goal for the day? No, his first goal for the day for Sal Mamone.
And it was similar to Danny Nolan's effort at the other end, where he was just very clever, summed up the situation really well, and was able to fire through the handball at the perfect time for Mamone to run through and kick the easiest of goals, as it was for Naboot at the other end when Danny Nolan had that fantastic effort here in the right forward pocket. So similar efforts for similar goals, and the scoreline is similar to it has been all day. 23-point margin, 3-5-23 to Bundoora, 7-4-46. Back in the middle now, going in hard was Finn. Good effort there by Palazzolo and Carmuciano laying the tackle, wrapping things up there in the middle. Going to have a secondary bounce. Finn wins it down into the path of Brunelli. He's wrapped up once again by Palazzolo. He's a good tackler, Palazzolo. He doesn't let you get away very easily.
Big barrel chest he has, much similar to Burton. So Finn and Lerm go at it again. Heidelburg win the ball down, get it clearing, kicking to their forward line. Coming through there was Sinclair. He's just kicked it up and under in the direction of the big Fav. He couldn't take a mark there. Mamone and Healy in a one-on-one battle. Goes back to Marshall. Goes one way, comes back the other, and he's kicked out there to Dave Mitchell's going to... No, that was Sinclair there, coming over and fisting it over the boundary line, right in front of the Heidelburg cameraman there. Wouldn't be a nice view looking into the sun. Just a quick around the ground. Fitzroy Stars have kicked away, 8-5-53. They lead Whittlesea 5-8-38 there, a 15-point margin, and Thomastown 23 points up against Watsonia.
Finn's going to be pinged for holding the ball here. He took it out of the ruck and was tackled straight away, so the ball's going to be with Lerm here on right half back. Gives it off to Mamone. Mamone, he's been very lively here in this second quarter, and he slides the ball into the middle in the direction of Papalucha and also Aquilina. Aquilina goes to ground, but he's still able to keep the ball in front of him, but nice work by Dorbola, able to pick it up and slide the ball into half forward. Good work by Michael Mitchell there to pick up, but Finn just stripped him of it, gave it to Nolan. Nolan has to get around Glary. He is able to slide a ball into Sargent. There's a lot of Bundoora numbers here, and Sargent is gone, taking the full 360. Sensational tackle there, little Dave Mitchell, and he well and truly has earned that ball there at half-back.
So he's got it right in the middle of the Bundoora defensive 50. He's got Delbridge very short if he wants him. Decides to go to Lerm instead at centre half-back. Lerm has got Mitchell running again past him, who goes out wide now to Dennis at left half-back. He's going to go up the line here, Dennis, to a man on the lead, Dyson. Can't take it, it comes off hands. Brunelli gets it back, well done for Brunelli. Off to now Brad Miller, it goes on the left, goes inside the forward 50 into an acre of space now. Marshall, he's just going to paddle it to himself and just keeps it in. Running around the back line there. Kick. It's going to fall to Lerm. He can pick it up off the ground here. Aaron Lerm falls to the ground. It comes back now to Heidelberg. A little handball over the top of Jamie Allen on the left. Screws it around the body. Hits the post.
They've had a few of those, haven't they?
A fantastic opportunity there for Heidelberg, but it just hit the post. Very unlucky for Jamie Allen. 46 plays 24 here in the second term. Not too far from half-time, you'd imagine. And Heidelberg just, it's been in their forward 50 for most of this second quarter, and they just haven't got the rewards they want.
They've had Allen run into the open goal just then. Favren was running into the open goal, missed. Hodgkin was running into the open goal, missed. Trelaw was running into the open goal, kicked it out on the full. So missed opportunities could hurt you later in the day, especially with the score the way it sits now. 22-point ball game. Nice little chip ball from Caroline. Finds Barbero, who was strong in the contest, able to take the mark in front of Logie. He's here right in front of our commentary position on left half back.
Listen to that sound on the leather. That was a beautiful kick.
It went whack, but only as far as Mark Lynch, who mops up at the back here for the Bergs, and he slides into the middle, finds Blair Harvey, and he's released Brad Miller in a bit of space, but great effort by Papalucha. Stripped him of the footy. It could have been a free kick. Didn't quite go that way, but they've turned it over anyway, and Farrelly's able to slide a ball out to the outer side. It's Moorcroft in a one-on-one against Kennedy. Good work there by Harvey. Good experience to get the ball back out to Lynch. Lynch slides one into Allen, and Allen now takes the mark defensive side of the centre on the left-hand side for Heidelberg, and he's able to slide one up towards Nolan. Off his hands it came to Brunelli. Brunelli's handball no good, but Palazzolo almost stuffed it up. Good work by, good recovery there by Barbero it was, and he's able to slide one out to Michael Mitchell. He's got support there in Carmuciano, decides not to use it. He decides to chip a little ball into Carline, and he takes the mark about 85 metres out from his defensive goal.
And good news for those fans of running with the balls in Spain, but the man that went off before with that tight hammy is back. Jimmy Lord is he's standing, he's ready, he's willing and able, and The Bulls are just going to assess whether or not they'll bring him back on before this quarter is over, or give him just a bit of an extended break before half-time here. So Bundoora on the attack now, sitting on the wing with Lerm there, Jordan. I think you've got your eyes all over this.
So Lerm does have it, handballed off to a man running by. A kick up to right half forward here. Palazzolo at the full, didn't take it. Comes around now to a teammate in Delbridge who shrugs one, he gets it on the right boot, goes inside the forward 50 now. Cloak's there, but marking back. It was a great mark, and there's Murphy for the first time playing defence, and he moves it out wide to in his captain Blair Harvey, I believe that is, at right half back.
That's Logie.
It is Logie, in fact, who goes with a big central kick into the middle of the ground. Coming out from the back was Dennis, but no one gets it back. A little chip over the top, but no one there for Heidelburg at all, except for the running of Brad Miller, who gets it back.
That should be against Miller.
It is, and it's advantage paid. It's going to go to Farrell in. He slides a little ball up to his teammate there, Palazzolo. He's been good in the first half, Palazzolo, I thought. He can slide one back to Shelton, but he decides to go further afield. Gets Cloak on the long lead, marking out in front of Jared Smith.
Now have a look at where Murphy is. He's sitting right on the 50 arc. Heidelburg should have been doing this from the first bounce.
So Cloak now about 90 metres out from goal. He just launches a big high ball. It's coming back with the wind, and it's going to be marked there uncontested in the end at half back there for Heidelberg, and they can switch the play nicely if they want to, and they do. It's Logie again running off half back. He's got a couple of options he can go to. Plenty of space there off half-back to move the footy. He does hit a target. It's Mark Lynch. Gives a handball straight away to Brunelli. Brunelli streaming through the middle of the ground. Has to get around one, and does. Left foot ball in the half-forward. I thought he might have taken the mark. Possibly dropped it there at the last second. Now, good effort there by Glory to mop it up. Gets it over to Shelton, and then back over to Ryan. Ryan into Carline. Carline can get it back to Lerm or Shelton. He decides to go with Shelton, and Shelton's kick is awful. That is an awful kick for a Team of the Year fullback. We've seen on a couple of occasions Ben Shelton named in the Team of the Year. That's not a Team of the Year kick, just plotting a little 20-metre chip pass out of bounds on the full. You can't be doing that. And now that's a turnover. It's going to be Heidelberg's ball, about 80 metres out from goal. I think that's Houlihan running onto it now.
Logie.
Oh, it was Logie. The man Logie, he's been on fire here in this second quarter, and he's just slid another little ball into Chaz Sargent, and he can line up for his second goal of the day.
The Chaz.
Well, there's been a few positional changes here for Heidelberg that have taken place in the past sort of 2 minutes. We've seen Murphy go in the back line, but we've also seen Miller play out of the goal square, and he's playing as that big forward now that we haven't really seen today for Heidelberg. So he's now their main forward up in the forward line. Murphy's gone back as well. Logie's also playing across half-back now in the midfield, and Brunelli's now playing a bit further afield as Chaz Sargent comes in on the half-time sign. The kick is on the way. It's just hooked out to the left, to the right, and one behind there for Heidelberg. So at half-time, the scores are Bundoora 7-4-46, leading Heidelberg 3-7-25. 3-7, very inaccurate. There have been quite a few behinds and a couple of out of bounds on the fulls as well from Heidelberg. They need to improve on their accuracy in the second half if they want to get that double chance and face Montmorency next week. Guys, before we head to the break, your thoughts on the first half of footy. I'll start with you, Tommy Flanagan.
Yeah, very interesting game of football. I think the star quality of the Bundoora midfield is really standing up here today. You look at Dyson, David Mitchell, Carmuciano, Palazzolo, Farrelly, Mamone. They've all been fantastic. Braden Shaw's been outstanding. Papalucci got involved there in that second quarter. I think they're all up and about, and they're looking like a pretty accomplished side at the moment. I think that injury to James Lord, if he can't get back on, that really hurts them structure-wise. It's just cloaked the big target if Lord goes down, unless they decide to move Lerm into the ruck permanently, then they can have Dennis floating down there. So they've still got options, but it does give them a little bit of a conundrum what to do with Dennis now that Lord has gone down.
And Lee, your thoughts from that first half?
Heidelberg did play a lot better in that second quarter, but I think Bundoora just have this game well in control here. You mentioned late in the second quarter that Heidelberg did have it in their forward. Tommy, you said there were about 4 or 5 opportunities that you ran off that they could have kicked goals and they missed. Wasted opportunities. You can't afford to do that when it comes to the big stuff in September. So Bundoora still might pick, and I think it's going to be by about 5 goals.
We'll go around the grounds in just a moment. Goal scorers from that first half of footy: Cameron Cloak leading with 3 goals for Bundoora, James Lord with 2, and singles for Moorcroft and Mamone. For Heidelberg, singles all round: Chaz Sargent, George Naboo, and Mark Favren. in that second quarter. Around the ground scores Lee Malden.
It is Whittlesea 6-8-44, trailing the Fitzroy Stars 8-6-54. That is the Division 2 second semi, and Watsonia is 10-4-64. They've taken the lead back now here against Thomastown. They are 9-4-58. And here at Preston City Oval, it is Bundoora 7-4-46, Heidelburg 3-7-25. We are the NFL Match of the Day team here on your local station, 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. We'll be back after a short break with the wrap-up of the first half and get stuck into the second half.